Hello and welcome to LFC Focus. We got a big transfer news update for you today on Liverpool's potential pursuit of a new goalkeeper this summer. It has been reported by Alessandro Ustini, who is a fairly reliable reporter on all things Roma, or so I'm told. I don't know whether he's like the James Pearce of Roma or anything like that. It's hard for us, obviously, to tell because we're not huge Roma fans. We don't read the Roma Echo or anything like that. But he seems like, from the way that people are talking about this report, it is a fairly reliable source on all the things coming out of Roma. He has reported that Liverpool currently lead the race to sign Alisson. And given that the player has been linked with Real Madrid and Chelsea so far this summer, that is obviously huge news, because it is a huge stumbling block that could have got in Liverpool's way, that we wouldn't have been the first choice and, you know, the first priority for Alisson. The fact that now we are the club that are most likely to sign him when he's got these other teams that are interested in him is fantastic news. And in other news today, we've had plenty of stuff on Alisson. Gianluca Di Marzio, who is a reporter for Sky Sports in Italy, so another pretty reliable source, I think it's fair to say, has said that Alisson's agent will be holding talks with Roma today to decide the player's future. He will essentially be telling Roma, the reports say, that his client wants to leave and that his preferred destination is one of the English clubs by the sound of it. Now, an offer is expected from either Liverpool or Chelsea. As it stands, it now looks like Real Madrid have pulled out. I think that's probably because they are after Thibaut Courtois. I mean, if you want my personal thoughts, I'd rather have Courtois than Alisson, but Courtois is dead set on Real Madrid now. It looks like he's going there, which has opened up the market for Chelsea now looking for a new goalkeeper. But the vital thing now is, whereas Liverpool were behind Real Madrid in the pecking order for Alisson, we are now ahead of Chelsea, which, you know, I think makes sense. Chelsea are a club that are in a little bit of turmoil at the moment. Their manager is good, but he's no Jurgen Klopp, let's face it. And also, you know, Liverpool are a Champions League club, Chelsea are a Europa League club at the moment. So it does seem like we hold all the cards, which is absolutely fantastic. It's good to see that these reports seem to be coming from reliable sources in Italy as well. So it does suggest that some big things are happening here. And hopefully after this meeting occurs between Alisson's agent and Roma, we will get a clear idea later on today, perhaps even tonight in the 10:30 news, on whether or not Alisson to Liverpool could become a reality between now and the end of the window. Now, if you like your gossip stuff, if you like your Instagram transfer rumours kind of stuff, then it has also been noted that Alisson's agent on Instagram liked a photo of Alisson photoshopped into a Liverpool kit. Alisson has also taken Roma out of his bio, so who knows, maybe, I mean, at the end of the day, this could all be accidental. This could be them accidentally clicking the wrong buttons and stuff like that. It could also be them making power moves in an attempt to sway Roma into actually allowing Alisson to leave the club. We just don't know, but, you know, if you like to throw yourself into transfers, if you love every little tidbit of rumours that you can find, then, you know, that's enough to send you into a frenzy, I think it's fair to say. But yeah, other interesting points regarding this. Roma fly out for their pre-season tour on Thursday, I think it is, so I imagine if they find out that Alisson wants to leave, they will want this done fairly quick, because they'll want to either buy a new goalie or start training up their other ones that aren't Alisson, because they'll be expecting them to be the first choice next season. You'd expect them to want to do that during their pre-season tour. So like I said, once this meeting occurs between Alisson and his agent, and not Alisson, Alisson's agent and Roma, and provided this interest is very much concrete and Liverpool do want to lodge a bid for Alisson, and they are ahead in the race, as has been reported, basically provided all the information we've been given so far is true and is not just, you know, made up for the sake of clicks or anything like that, which fingers crossed it isn't, then we could see this start to move very, very quickly indeed, which would be very exciting, obviously, for all of us Liverpool fans. Now, one thing that people have pointed out, because like I said, all these reports are coming out from Italy, is the fact that English journalists have been essentially silent on this. You know, so far, all we've ever really got from English journalists is when we've had done deals. So like with the Fekir one where the fee was agreed, with the Shaqiri one when Paul Joyce said we were getting really, really close. And then apart from that, it's essentially people from the Liverpool Echo, like James Pearce, just saying, nah, wide of the mark. Liverpool aren't interested in him. So if you ask me, it's a good sign that the English journalists aren't saying anything, because if they say something, it normally means either the deal is never going to happen, that Liverpool have no interest, or they've dropped their interest, or the deal is basically done, and it's obviously not going to be done by now. There's plenty of stuff to go through. Roma haven't even actually decided to sell Alisson yet, and there hasn't been a concrete bid. So of course there's going to be no positive news from the English side of news. So for me, the total radio silence that is occurring is a good sign, and a sign that Liverpool are just trying to get things done, because that's how we've done things so far this summer. We haven't been leaking stuff to the press. Whenever we get anything, it is from these like Italian news outlets, or with Fekir, it was the French news outlets. So I think it's fair to say that just because they come from another country, just because they're sources that we're not used to hearing from, doesn't mean they're not reliable. They are clearly in the know. They're connected to Alisson's agent. They're connected to his entourage. They're connected to Roma as well. So they know what's going on. It's just that unfortunately we can't get the Liverpool side of things, and we essentially just have to trust that the Liverpool interest is genuine, as has been reported. Now, the other big important question about this is how much influence the fact that he originally preferred Real Madrid will have on Liverpool's interest in him, because we've seen in the past that Jurgen Klopp, and I've mentioned this in previous videos when talking about Alisson, Jurgen Klopp doesn't like it when a player essentially treats Liverpool as the sloppy seconds, as the sort of second choice that's on standby in case they don't get their dream move. He wants players like Fekir and players like Shaqiri, players like Mane and players like Salah, who look at the Liverpool project, who look at Jurgen Klopp and look at the opportunities that they get playing for Liverpool and think that is 100% what I want to be doing, and I don't want to be at any other club on the planet. Now, the fact that Alisson has essentially said to Liverpool earlier, I'm going to see if Real want me first, and obviously now that's gone by the wayside because Real are getting Courtois, which, as I said, is why Chelsea are interested, but Liverpool, for various reasons, which I think we can all understand, are ahead of Chelsea in the pecking order. We are now the sort of top priority for Alisson, but I just wonder, is Jurgen Klopp going to be able to look past the fact that the player originally basically told us to go away for a little bit until he sorts out his future and until he finds out whether the Real interest is genuine? I mean, we have been after him for a while, so that to me suggests that he would have probably told us early on, if we'd sort of put feelers out and said, how do you feel about moving to Liverpool? And he'd said, I'd rather Real Madrid. We probably would have dropped our interest fairly early on, but the stories about Alisson have been around since like winter time, really, since January, February. So I feel like Liverpool would have properly called their interest. We sort of had it earlier on in the window when Liverpool decided they weren't really thinking about signing a goalkeeper. Obviously, that's all changed with the Loris Karius situation and the thing that happened against Tranmere. But I feel like Liverpool are still going to retain their interest. And the fact of the matter is, at the end of the day, there is a bit of a natural pecking order. If a player has interest from Real Madrid, you kind of got to look at them and say, well, they are this huge super club. They've got, 3 of the last Champions Leagues, 4 of the last Champions League in the last 5 years. That's incredibly impressive, and of course players are going to want to go to them. And while we want to avoid another Phil Coutinho situation where a player comes to Liverpool and always has his eye on a move elsewhere, we don't want Alisson coming to Liverpool and thinking, well, as soon as the Real post comes available, I'm going to put in a transfer request and something like that. But at the end of the day, he is still a fantastic goalie, and if he wants Liverpool over Chelsea, then there's still a clear idea that he does actually want to move to the club and he values the project that Jurgen Klopp is building. So, it might be a problem. It might be something that Jurgen Klopp wants to speak with the player beforehand, just to gauge in person whether or not he really wants to commit to Liverpool. And then I think once that's done, we will probably look to move ahead in this transfer. So yeah, very, very exciting times. Personally, I'm not one of the people who's saying Liverpool should get a new goalie, and if they don't, they're going to get relegated or anything like that. But I think Alisson, as much as, it's only been one season in the spotlight for him, he has shown that he is more than good enough to be given a shot at Liverpool, and is probably quite a lot better than all the goalkeepers we have available at the moment. So some very, very positive news. Here's hoping that we can see this one develop between now and the end of the window. So next up, there has been a little bit more transfer news in other corners of the world regarding Liverpool. There is, of course, always going to be a little bit of Fekir watch on these videos. Essentially, Lyon have just been making all sorts of noise in the press that they are open to negotiations and open to the resumption of talks with Liverpool. Now, how much of this is essentially just them putting out that they've already gone back into talks and the restructuring is being agreed? It's hard to tell because, like I said, Liverpool do not put this kind of information out. Obviously, with the things that have already happened in the Fekir deal, they are going to be very, very careful with what information gets out. And I imagine we won't actually find out we've signed Fekir until maybe a couple of hours before the official announcement or anything like that. But all the right noises are being made, and Lyon have essentially, according to L'Equipe, given Liverpool until the end of the month to make the player ours. Now, that could cause a problem if we're trying to get the Alisson deal sorted as well, because I think ideally, because we've got essentially 3 weeks left of the transfer window, we're probably going to want to get one done by the end of the month, and maybe in those last 10 days before August the 9th, we'll try and get the other one done as well. The fact that we've got both of these clubs essentially saying, buy this player now or get lost, could start to cause problems, because I think they are two transfers that will require intensive negotiations. You know, we know that with the one with Fekir, that it's going to require all this restructuring. We know that Jean-Michel Aulas is a pain in the backside when it comes to negotiations, so we will have to put all of our efforts into that to make sure that one gets over the line. But the trouble with Roma as well is they are asking for a huge fee for Alisson, a fee that it's already been reported Liverpool aren't really interested in paying. And with Chelsea's interest always, you know, in the background there as well, we've got to make sure that they know our interest is genuine and they know we're serious about it. Because if we put them on the back burner while we're sorting the Fekir deal, they might just say, oh, well, Chelsea are offering us 70 million euros or something like that, so we'll just go with them instead. So it's going to be a tough balancing act for Liverpool over the next few days. Like I said, it's really hard to tell what's actually going on, because the only sources we have at the moment are Fekir's agent, who kind of feeds his details to Dave Maddock. Dave Maddock hasn't really said anything so far. I feel like he's part of this whole thing where he's essentially been told to hold radio silence over the whole thing because of the controversy that surrounded the deal earlier on in the window. And the only other source we have is Lyon, and they are a little bit unreliable. You know, Jean-Michel Aulas has a reputation for just telling absolute fibs to the press. I mean, you only have to look back as far as a month ago when he said, we have had no contact with Liverpool whatsoever. And then about 2 days after that, it was confirmed that Liverpool had agreed a fee with Lyon for the player. And he's done that in the past as well. He said that there was like no chance that Lacazette was going to leave Lyon last summer, and then he joins Arsenal by the end of the window. So it's really tough to say what's going on, but the signs so far are incredibly positive, and I feel like this is one that could get done, hopefully, very, very quickly, especially now with the World Cup over. And finally, Mundo Deportivo in Spain have reported that Liverpool have apparently made an offer for Barcelona backup goalkeeper Jasper Cillessen, and Cillessen is now mulling it over. I mean, who's to say how much truth there is into this? If you ask me, I really don't think there is that much, because I think if Liverpool are after Alisson, they're not going to be sort of leaving goalkeepers sort of hanging and saying, we might come back in for you. If they are to go for Jasper Cillessen, it will probably be once the Alisson deal completely breaks down, and all the current suggestions show that actually we're going all in for Alisson at the moment. So, you know, it's entirely possible that we've put feelers out, that we've got in touch with his agent and stuff like that, and we've said, would he be interested in moving to Liverpool? Because you never want to start moving to a player until you actually know they'd want to come to you. So I'm sure there are plenty of goalkeepers in and around Europe that Liverpool have got in touch with the agents of and said, would he like a move to Liverpool and stuff like that? But I can imagine that the whole situation with Cillessen has gone no further than that. I don't think we've like offered him personal terms or put down a contract agreement or anything like that, or actually made a bid for him. I just think that as far as this will have gone is simply getting in touch with his agent and saying, how would he feel about a move to Liverpool? So, you know, it's positive that we're still being mentioned in conversations for all these big goalies, but I think right now all the attention rightly is on trying to secure Alisson. So that is all for today's video. Thank you guys very, very much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, why not give it a like? If you're new around here as well, hit that subscribe button there. Check out some of the other videos that have been out on the channel over the past few days as well. Don't forget to follow at LFC Focus TV on Twitter, and I'll be back soon with hopefully some more exciting transfer news. Bye for now.